Hey everyone, it's Courageous, and I'm here with my top 5 tarot decks of 2020. So this is a VR to Simon at the Hermit's Cave, I think, because I believe he was only mentioning tarot decks that came out in 2020, but I'm mentioning my favorite cards of my favorite decks of 2020. So this may be a VR, they may not. You'll know when I research the title. Like, I'm just gonna put it as a VR anyway, because I bought most of these decks in 2020 anyway, even if they didn't come out in 2020. So how am I going about this? Well, they are going in order. I'm going to just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And how did I go about deciding my 5 favorite decks? First of all, my collection is not that large yet. It's growing. But I chose these decks in order of their use, the cards. So by use I mean I've used them. Like I reach for these decks. I read for clients with these decks. I use them the most because I'm drawn to use them the most. By their cards, I mean how many of their cards I love. I absolutely love, right? Because there's 78 cards in a deck. Sometimes they come with more. Like, how many of these, like, which of these decks have the cards that I absolutely love? And then I also added some bonus points and some plus points, so that affected their rank, right? So first, I will mention honorable mention. So technically it's 6, but this is honorable mention. So this is not top 5. This is my honorable mention. So it is the Tarot of the Divine. So this just came out. I love this deck. I love the cards on these decks. I love the backs. This is my favorite cardstock of all time. Like, this is just beautiful. It's beautiful. But why didn't it make it to my top 5? The reason is because I still have to learn the stories. I feel like some of the cards I have to really understand the story. That's not one of them. That's pretty self-explanatory. But for example, this 4 of Swords. This is not what I think of when I see a 4 of Swords, right? So I feel like I have to reach for the book to understand the story, and that kind of interrupts my flow with the reading. I haven't used it to read for clients yet. Like, I did do a pick a card reading. I've done a couple pick a card readings, I think. I've done at least one pick a card reading with the deck, and for the most part, I can read very well with it. But when I look at the deck, I'm not called, I'm not called to reach for it more, because I know there's all of these stories that I have yet to like learn or analyze. So let's look at the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords, it says it's Fenrir, Norway, and Norse mythology. The 4 of Swords signals a pause in a battle. The Norse gods know that the wolf Fenrir will bring about the end of the world, so they have him bound and chained. While he still represents a threat, for now there is respite. Like, I need to know that, because this is painful, right? And I associate the 4 of Swords with rest. So this is not a restful state to me. So that is why the Tarot of the Divine is not in the top 5, but it is honorable mention because I just really, really love the deck. And it's really beautiful. And I love this is my favorite 10 of Wands card ever. But again, you have to know the stories behind them. So I don't reach for this as much like when I'm reading for clients, because I don't reach for it at all that much, because I'm called to the stories. But if I'm just doing like a pick a card reading and I just want to like get background, or if I'm just doing like a picture reading or something, I'll reach for it. And the images are beautiful and my favorite card stock. So it got points for being my favorite card stock. So at number 5, we have the Dark Mansion Tarot. So the Dark Mansion Tarot, this is the the larger cardstock, the larger version with this back. There are different backs. So I studied my first master's degree was in Victorian literature. And I love the Victorian feel to it. I love the artwork. I love, you know, the Tim Burton-esque style to the cards. I love most of the cards. It's very easy to read because it's very Rider-Waite Smith. So it is easy to interpret. Look at this moon card. Look at this moon card. So it didn't get higher in my rank because I don't use this to read for clients as much. I don't use it at all to read for clients. I use it for pick a card readings where I can struggle a little bit more because it was so hard to shuffle. But then Lisa she's of Shuffle Tarot, Supportive Tarot, but now she's Lisa Papez. She gave me the suggestion to use like the powder, like a powder that I guess magicians use or card slingers use. I didn't find that powder. Well, I read some things about the possible negative effects of it, but I did keep looking, and somebody said baby powder and like the cornstarch baby powder. So I just bought cornstarch. I went straight to the source, and the cornstarch has changed the game for me. The cards are no longer, because the cards would stick together. They would stick together, like it was so annoying because they would clump, and no matter how much I used it, and it's also huge. It's like my poor hands, right? Like it's just, hold on, you know. So it did get points off for that, but I do love the images. I do love how I do connect with the art, and my Victorianist, you know, inside of me loves the artwork. But it did get points off because it's just hard to manage, and because I haven't used it to read for clients yet. So that's number 5. Number 4 is the Old World Tarot. So I just got this deck. I'm back. I just got this deck recently. I did a walkthrough. I'll link it somewhere. And I just got it, and it's made its way to number 4 on my top 5 decks of 2020. So I edged it in black. This is the back. The artist, I got this on Make Playing Cards, and I can't find any information on the artist. It just says art by Clem. So I don't know anything about this artist, but I do love, again, we have, and it's like, it's steampunk and it's old world, but kind of, you know, well, I don't see any modernity, but it's like, I don't know where this world is, but I want to know more about it. Like, I wish it had like an accompanying novel to it. It's very diverse. It has like, look at this 5 of Cups. Let me move it back. There we go. Like, I love this world. Look at this Hermit card. You know, the Hermit is a deal breaker for me. I love the Hermit. If I can't relate to the Hermit, like, and it's just like stealing off in the middle of the night, right? And just looking at what you're leaving behind. I love it. I love it. Again, it didn't score higher because I just got the deck. I haven't used it. Actually, no, I did use this. I used it yesterday for a reading, a personal reading, and it read really well. I used this deck with the Modern Witch Tarot, which will be coming soon. What else? What other deck did I use? I use my decks in combinations. I don't use just one deck for a reading. So I used it. Yeah, I used this in the Modern deck, and it read very well together. I feel like I used another card, another deck for the reading. Well, whatever. It read really well for my client, and I also used it in, did I use it in the pick a card reading yesterday? I've used it in a pick a card reading, in pick a card readings. I've used this, so it has read really well. I also used this with help with my novel. So this is why it's number 4, because it's worked in the areas of life that I needed to work on. And it's, It's great at shuffling. It's even prettier now that I've edged it. So I really bonded with this deck really quickly. So number 4. So number 3, we have the Shadowland, and I have it in this cute Peggy bag. The Shadowland deck. All of these decks will be in the description box below. Some of them might be affiliate links, which will not cost you any more, but will benefit the channel. So this is by Monica Badursky, gold edging. I love this deck. I just think it's so cute. I saw the Mange Tarot, like before this deck. I saw the Mange Tarot, and I was just like, it's so cute, but I really, like, I didn't find myself like connecting with it. And then I saw this, and I'm like, oh, it's similar art, but just a little darker. And I slept on this all year. Like, I didn't get this until like a few months ago. I slept on it all year, and then I saw Lisa Pepez doing live readings with this deck, and it sold me. I was just like, you know what? Like, I've been sleeping on it. I didn't think like, oh, what am I gonna use this deck for? Or it's like, it's not really me. But I bonded immediately with this deck, and this is the primary deck that I use with help writing my novel, which is magical realism, young adult fiction. And it's just so cute. So it's number 3 because it's working wonders for my novel. I started a novel, I restarted it, I changed it, and I have a video, Tarot for Writers, how I use the tarot to plot my novel. And this is the guidebook. Oh my God. This is the guide. I haven't really used this for reading for clients. That's why it's probably not higher. So, but the guidebook is amazing. Like, I love this, and it's mass market. So if you don't have it, highly recommend it. Go check it out. Shadowland Tarot, number 3. So number 2 is, hold on, there we go. So the number 2 deck is the Joadave Tarot, also in a cute Peggy bag. Is the Joadave Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. Did I mention? Oh, I didn't mention the Dark Mansion is by Tarot Teca, and the Tarot of the Divine is by Yoshitani. Just in case I forgot to mention. So the Joadave Tarot by Paulina Cassidy, I love. Look how cute it is. And it's funny because it's like, now that I'm looking at it, it has similarities to the Shadowland deck. One is like a lighter aspect, and one is like the shadow, I guess. Like, I'm just trying to see if I find like a very similar, like, perfect. Here we go. It's just kind of similar, but this one is more of like fantasy fairy creatures. We have it's kind of like Alice in Wonderland kind of feel also. I love just looking at all of her decks. Like, look at this Four of Pentacles. Beautiful. And I love the hair, right? It's like, it's kind of like Marie Antoinette, right? Like, I love all her decks, but I debated between this one and the Paulina Tarot, but I went with this one because it's just not as busy. And I love, like, this deck is number 2 because, like, you may see it looking all cute, but this deck will read you for filth. Like, this gives you, like, me in my personal readings and for clients, it tells you the cold hard truth, whether you want to hear it or not. Like, this, like, it holds no punches. It's super blunt, and it's just, I love it. It's great. I reach for this to read for clients on the regular. Like, it's just, there's no question. Like, okay, you want the cold hard truth? I got a deck for you. So it's, and the deck itself, it's easy to shuffle. no cards sticking together. So it got points for the cards. I love the cards. I love a lot of the cards. And it's easy to shuffle, and it's great for reading for clients. It's great for reading for myself. I haven't really used it for my novel, but I'm sure it'd be great for that too, because it's just great. All right, okay, we're at 15 minutes. All right, so my number one deck of 2020 of my top 5 decks is the Modern Witch Tarot. Also a Peggy bag. This one is like a double Peggy bag. I'm just plugging Peggy because I love her bags. I gotta order some more because I have the Old World Tarot in this one, and it's just not my style. So the Modern Witch Tarot is my number one deck. I did edge it in blue. I have a video. I used Crayola washable markers to edge it, and I think it came out beautifully. So the Modern Witch Tarot, that's the backs. It is reversible. I do read reversals. And look at my favorite card on here. So the Nine of Cups is my favorite card in all of tarot. That is my favorite. So I have it here. So the Modern Witch Tarot, like, you know, it's the most diverse, like the Joadave, the one I reach for the most to read for clients. It's I don't want to say it's the most diverse because it doesn't have males. It has male presenting, but I think their females are non-binary. I don't know. But still, it is diverse in terms of color, because there's people who look like me, and that's very important to me in a deck. But it's also the easiest to read with. Like, it's just it's just a modern Rider-Waite-Smith clone. But I get clear readings. I can use it for anything. I haven't used it for my novel. Wait, did I? No. I haven't used it for mapping my novel, but I can use it for any area of my life. When I went to Dominican Republic on vacation, this is, on my spiritual vacation, I took this deck and I took my Old World Tarot because those were the 2 decks that I was drawn to take. But this one I will take anywhere. It is thick. So it's thick, but I can still shuffle overhand. It's the best for reading for clients. And I love all, there's very few cards that I don't love, right? And then it's just the best. So that's my number one. So that's it. I kept it under 20 minutes. Good. All right. So those are my top 5 decks of 2020. And by top 5 decks of 2020, I mean my favorite decks of 2020, not those that were released in 2020, which may be what Simon of the Hermit's Cave meant, but I'm taking it a new direction. So let me know what your top decks of 2020 are. Are there any of mine? What do you think of mine? Do you have these and you hate them? Just let's talk about it in the comments. All right, so I'll see you in my next video. This is Courageous. Peace.